Hey YouTube, it's Jennifer. Today is technically Tuesday, September 11th, 2012. This is my week 28 gastric bypass update. Obviously, with today being September 11th, I don't think any of us need to be reminded of where our hearts and minds should be today, but just in case, I am thinking of those who lost their lives and sacrificed their lives on that day. So, at any rate, today being my week 28, I almost forgot to weigh myself today. I was in the shower and I'm thinking of all the stuff I got to do, and um, something reminded me of something I wanted to say in my video, and I thought, oh, I can't make a video till I weigh myself. Um, so that right there, I think, is a pretty profound statement, because I know a lot of people get obsessed with the scale, and they weigh themselves pretty much every day, and I care so little about the scale that I'm forgetting to weigh myself. But I lost a pound this week. Not surprised. Happy it's going in the right direction, but I'm not surprised at the small amount. I had a couple topics I want to cover today. I had a very, very big epiphany yesterday when it comes to the addiction that we go through, and how people say that, you know, once they have surgery, they're in control of what they eat and the exercise they do and the weight they lose, and I think that's a bunch of bull. But I'll explain that in a second. I had an appointment today at my OBGYN's office to get my hormonal testing done. I look forward to coming back on here in 2 weeks, which oddly enough will be my week 30 gastric bypass video, which is insane that I'm that far in this journey. I was pre-op for like 2 years, so it's just weird to now be post-op. But anyway, the hormonal testing was advised by both my surgeon and my OBGYN. My OBGYN actually suggested it prior to surgery because I was having a lot of issues then, and she didn't want to do anything about it until I had surgery and my hormones kind of calmed down a little bit, because she told me they were going to go crazy after surgery. And then I talked to my surgeon about it during my 6-month checkup or whatever, and he suggested that I have it done too, based on the things that I was saying. I'm not going to get too detailed about it, but I definitely think there's something off. But during the hormonal testing, they check obviously your female hormones, they check the male hormones, and they check your thyroid. If there's any abnormalities in your thyroid, they just give you a copy of the lab results, and they send you off to your primary care physician, because my insurance doesn't pay for your OBGYN to deal with your thyroid, but for good reason. But I get those results back in 2 weeks, 10 to 14 days. I think my appointment is exactly 2 weeks from this past Monday. So from yesterday. So that'll be interesting, because I'm really, really excited. I feel like there are abnormalities, and I'm really hoping that there are, which sounds weird, but it would explain so much, and I think it would greatly improve things to get on some kind of hormonal treatment. My cats are crazy. And while I was there, I did my STD testing, because you should all do it. Every single one of you should get tested at least twice a year. And I usually get tested twice a year. This is a little farther in the year than I normally do it. I usually do it like in June and then again in December. But at any rate, and then what else? I was in my room, my exam room, waiting for my doctor, my nurse technically, to come in. And the woman next to me in the next room was pregnant, and she was having her ultrasound done. And I heard it, and I just like totally started crying. Well, I don't want to say like crying, but like I was crying. Not to the point of like sobbing tears, but just like my heart like literally ached. I want a baby so bad. Can't even try to get pregnant until at least 18 months post-op. So I still have another year, and that's fine. I have an IUD in. I have that Mirena IUD, so I can't. That's good for 5 years. So if circumstances don't allow for me to try to get pregnant this time next year, which I think would be an awesome birthday present. Like, surprise, happy birthday, you're pregnant. That'd be awesome. That would really, really be cool. But if that doesn't happen, I'm not gonna press the issue too much. Something I really, really want. And there's so many of you out there who have had surgery, and that's how you were able to have children. And I've been pregnant twice. I've lost both my children. The first one I had an abortion that I didn't really want to have. And then the second one was born prematurely at 5 months. And obviously, a baby can't survive outside the mother's womb that early on. Sorry, there's so many cats in here. So my son died. I did get to hold him. But those two events happened in the same year. They both happened in 2001, and I haven't even tried to get pregnant since then because I'm so afraid that I would lose another child, and there's no way I can go through that again. If I lose another child, you should probably put me on suicide watch because it's that severe. But anyway, so off that top, that got really heavy and deep real quick, didn't it? But yeah, I want a baby so bad, it's not even funny. But I don't know. That's not an issue that I need to deal with right now. I have other things to deal with. So my big epiphany before this video gets too long-winded, which it already kind of is. I was thinking, I've been having a lot of anxiety lately in regards to eating, and my doctor made it very clear, that I have to stop with the carbs and all that stuff. And I did go shopping today, which was post-epiphany. And I went shopping today, and I got, things like salad and fat-free dressing, pre-made grilled chicken, and then I got some other chicken. I bought a steak, which I've never bought steak before. I've never made a steak at home. So I know that sounds primitive, but I've never made a steak at home. I'm gonna be learning, but I have not made one yet. Pork chops. I bought some pork chops, and and apples, and I bought some plain Greek yogurt, and I think I'm going to mix some of my protein powder in it so that it becomes like a chocolate. And I think after I put the protein powder in it, make it chocolate, I'm going to put it in the freezer so that it's kind of like a chocolate ice cream kind of thing, and I'm going to try it that way. But I did like my best at trying to buy healthy, pro-successful bypass foods. Like that would be helpful. But here's the epiphany that I had, and I still experience some anxiety today with the shopping. Not as bad as I was prior to this whole big thought that I had yesterday, but prior to surgery, a lot of us were considered food addicts. Whether or not you really were or you weren't, or whether you are inclined to resign yourself to that food addiction title, we were not in control of our food, and we were not in control of our bodies, and we were not in control of our weight. Every day, an addiction inside of us told us what we were going to eat, when we were going to eat it, and why we were eating it. And we really didn't have much control over it, which is why I cannot stand it when people say, oh, if you just diet and exercise, you'd lose the weight. As if we've never tried that before. There is something chemical in us, pre-op, that made us get that big. Because a lot of us don't eat a lot of food, and a lot of us don't eat often. It's portion sizes, and it's the food we're choosing, and the reason we're choosing that food is because of that chemical addiction within us. Prior to surgery, let me just say this, prior to surgery, what we're used to is immediate affirmation, like immediate instant gratification, and prolonged consequences. meaning, I can sit down, prior to surgery, I could go get a 12 or 18-inch sub. And yes, I said 12 or 18 inches of a submarine. Then drive to McDonald's to get a 32-ounce Coke, park myself in the parking lot, and eat that crap. And I would feel so calm and so much at peace. And it was the highlight of my day. And it was that immediate gratification. It was that instant happiness, that instant feeling like everything was going to be okay. I didn't choose to eat those foods. I believe that the chemicals that are in your body at the time, they tell you what to eat. And the consequences are prolonged. The consequences are, in 6 months, I'm going to gain 10 pounds. The consequences are, in a year from now, I'm going to have a colonoscopy because they're afraid I have some kind of intestinal problems. Our health does not come first, and the health obviously suffers, but we don't have to deal with that right away. What we get to deal with is the instant good stuff. Now, when you're post-op, it's a totally different thing. I still don't think we have control over our food, and I still don't think we have control over our exercise, and I still don't think we have control over whether we lose weight or not. I think the only difference between post-op and pre-op is that pre-op, it's a chemical addiction and a chemical control, and post-op, it's a physical control. Meaning you physically cannot eat a lot of food. You physically will get sick if you eat certain foods, and you physically can only handle so much food. So post-op, your body's still telling you what you can eat, when you can eat it, and why you're eating it. It's really not up to you. And post-op, I think a reason a lot of people have trouble post-op is because it's the reverse of what it was pre-op. Pre-op, it was the instant gratification, prolonged consequences. Post-op, it's instant consequences and prolonged gratification. Instantly, if I eat, right now, this is sugar-free tea. If this were pop, even just this much pop, which is maybe, I would say like 6 ounces probably. If I drank 6 ounces of pop right now, which I haven't had pop other than the frozen Cokes, I want to say, but I haven't, even with the frozen Cokes, let's use the frozen Coke. Even with the frozen Cokes, if I had 6 ounces of a frozen Coke, within 10-20 minutes, I'm going to feel sick as hell. I'm going to. Instant consequence. But if I don't have it, and I choose the right things based on what my physical, saying this wrong, based on what I'm physically capable of eating, if I follow those rules, the immediate, I'm sorry, God, I'm messing this all up and I'm confusing you. If I follow the rules post-op, I don't have to deal with the immediate consequences because they won't be there. But the prolonged benefits will be more energy, better health, losing weight, longer life. There's so many, but they're prolonged. They don't happen right away. So you're sitting here trying to make all these great food choices, and if you mess up, you instantly get punished for it. If you do good, you don't know you've done good until the next week, the next month, maybe 6 months from now. And I think that's why I'm having such an issue with this new food and trying to eat healthy and trying to make better choices, because right now I'm in the honeymoon stage still, and if I make a bad choice, I get sick. Whatever. I've been sick for 30 years. Being sick for an hour ain't gonna do nothing to me. It's just not. But I will still lose weight because it's a honeymoon period. I'll get sick as hell and I will still lose weight. So I just think, this sounds so stupid and trivial, and it sounded so much better when I was going for my walk yesterday and thinking about all this stuff. But it took me 30 minutes to go for my walk, so I'm not going to sit here and record a 30-minute video on this. But I think that's really what it is it's a different kind of control, controlling us, and we're fooling ourselves if you tell yourself that you're the one in control. You're still not in control. I don't have control over my body still. I love my body more now. I love my mind more now. I'm setting up personal boundaries in my life that help me to feel more successful and happier as a person. But in terms of food, pre-op it was chemically, post-op it's physical. And the only real difference is that I paid a whole lot of money to, to have my body hacked up into pieces so that I would have a different controller with my food. So with that in mind, I'm trying to be a little bit more patient with myself in terms of the anxiety that I'm feeling with all these changes. But I feel very fortunate that I was able to have surgery, and I feel very fortunate that I still have 6 months to learn how to eat better. And I have 6 months to still learn to stop eating the crap that I'm eating. Um, with the great grocery shopping that I did today, and I am proud of myself with the choices I made grocery shopping, because there were a lot of things that I was checking labels and I was, doing my best to make the best choices. And I really wanted to buy some spaghetti, but I can't. I'm really staying away from the carbs as much as possible. But as soon as I left the grocery store, I went and bought a frozen Coke. Stupid, stupid me. And I knew it was stupid and I did it anyway. And I came home and I made a wonderful dinner. I made baked chicken and it was so good. And I tried to make mashed cauliflower, which I've never eaten in my life, but I tried because I wanted to say that I had, I was trying to make positive changes, and that just didn't even work. I mean, that was just not going to happen. And fast forward to the rest of the day, there were Doritos, there were M&Ms. I've had 3 donuts today. I had one this morning, one this afternoon, one tonight before I went to bed, or I'm about to go to bed. Donuts make me so sick. Donuts made me sick prior to surgery. But that's because I would sit there and eat a dozen at a time. I've had 3 donuts today. That's disgusting. That's not staying away from carbs and sugar. That's like punishing myself, and I don't know why it's so hard for me to stay away from these carbs, because I know logically and intellectually I have to do it, and why I have to do it, and what the consequences will be if I don't, and what the rewards will be when I do. And it's still like subconsciously, I did not even realize that I was eating that 3rd donut until I had like this much of it left. And then I was sitting there like, my niece even said, or the 2nd donut, not the 3rd, the 2nd donut. And my niece even said, Jen, you're not supposed to eat that. My 4-year-old niece knows that I'm not supposed to be eating donuts, but my fat ass walked over to that donut box and got 1 out, got 2 out, got 3 out today. So I'm frustrated with, sorry, getting texted. I'm just frustrated with the changes that I have to make. I'm frustrated that they're not easier to make. And I think what I'm most frustrated with is when I was initially pre-op, I followed the rules to the T. And now that I've seen what I can get away with, and I've seen that I can kind of escape with some things, I'm totally breaking the rules. And I hate that, because I was doing so well. And I think if I would have just stayed in the guidelines and I would have just stayed in the rules and not tested my boundaries, I would have been doing a lot better than I have now. And my surgeon is very supportive, and he let me know, Jen, you can catch up. Like, you've only lost 13 pounds in the past 3 months, but you could catch up. You could lose that 20 pounds plus another 30 if you wanted to by 9 months. So I'm either going to be super, super strict and go back to the basics, starting with just the basics that you used week 1, week 2, week 3 post-op, the liquids, the purees, and then the soft foods, because I think I've stretched my pouch out a lot. I think I eat a lot more food. I can eat a lot more food than a lot of people can. But then the other concern I'm having is I'm not really able to drink a whole lot. If I take a gulp of water, I've been able to gulp water since the day I was in the hospital. Water has never been hard for me to gulp. Forget this little 1 ounce every 10 minutes thing. I was gulping water, and I've never had an issue with it. But lately, it's like it feels almost like it's getting stuck to the point where I want to throw up. And it eventually goes through. So I don't think it's the opening of my stomach that's the problem. I think I've stretched out my pouch. So I really do think I need to go back to basics. And if I don't go back to the basics, then I might just need to be really, really strict with the rules. But I think it's probably best for me to go back to basics for a while and then be really strict with the rules. Almost act like I just had surgery again. Because I don't want to miss this opportunity, and I don't want to seem ungrateful for the privilege that I've had. I'm very, very blessed and lucky and fortunate to be in the position I'm in. And I also ramble a lot. a lot. So 20 minutes, I'm done talking seriously. And if you watch this whole video, well, I'm not going to give you a cookie. I was going to say I'll give you a cookie. See, that's bad. But thank you for watching. I mean, I appreciate all my viewers. I'm getting a lot more subscriptions, and I appreciate the comments, and I appreciate all the support. This community has been imperative to me being as successful as I've been. I've met so many great people through YouTube and through Facebook, and I'm just so thankful. So thank you very much for your friendship and your guidance and your honesty with things, because what you go through helps me with what I'm going through. So I'm going to shut up now, and I'm probably going to go to bed. I have an interview actually in 5 hours, a phone interview at 5:30 in the morning with the company that I work for now, but just in Toledo as opposed to Detroit, and it's a full-time position, and it's midnight, which is why the interview's at 5:30. So I'm going to try and lay down for a couple hours and then do my interview. So I will talk to you guys all soon. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I've said something that maybe helped somebody. And if not, maybe I'll make a shorter video next week, and probably I'm not going to make a shorter video. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.